We got this from the Post-Millennial. South Park features Cartman as Charlie Kirk in a new episode, and Charlie Kirk has changed his profile picture to Eric Cartman. This is amazing. It is crazy to see that CBS is spending $1.5 billion on this. So that $1.5 billion, $30 million per episode. And who is their target? It's obviously Donald Trump. He's the president. But for Charlie Kirk, congratulations, man. You made it. It's wild because I'm pretty sure South Park is older than Charlie is.
Yeah. By the way, so a huge win for Charlie Kirk, Chicago boy like we are. We love to see Chicago boys do well, but more importantly for the country, I think the point is here, you're right, we are winning the culture war, right? When South Park feels that they need to mock a show host and a campaign operative, albeit a super important one, like Charlie Kirk. Also notable, CBS, let's remember, CBS had to pay a significant settlement to Donald Trump. I think a huge win for accountability. I think one thing Trump is bringing in this second term is accountability. Whether it's accountability for media, whether it's accountability for people who perpetrated the Russia hoax, but accountability. So many Americans have been so frustrated because we've been told lies time and again and just told you have to accept it and you have to pretend it's the truth. Well, we're done with that. And Trump's the leader of that counter-revolution of saying, no, there will be revelations, there will be transparency, and there's going to be accountability.
So I'm interested. I want to push back on that idea that the right is winning, and only because I feel like the MAGA coalition is not just the right. So what would you say to someone that said, maybe the right isn't winning, but the left is losing? The left has lost a lot of people that used to be the normie Democrats are leaving the left en masse, and you've got a lot of people that were Democrats in the 90s that actually kind of created and started the MAGA coalition. So what would you say to that?
No, listen, I think it's both, right? And to me, it doesn't have to be either or. I don't think it has to be binary. It can be both and. Clearly, the Democrats have become so radicalized in the 2020s that they are totally inhospitable and unwelcoming to normal people. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that. It's one of the key reasons that they've lost the working class. It's not just about the economy. That's key. But it's also cultural issues, right? I mean, a lot of working class people are highly religious. They believe, for example, that there's two sexes. I mean, go figure. They don't like the Democratic Party that is obsessed with pronouns and forcing gender ideology and other crazy Marxist ideas down their throats.
I think they're 35% approval rating, like record low. I think that speaks to that.
Yeah, all-time low. Now, not all of them are MAGA populist right people, right? Some of them are, though, too, and some of them are also, it's not just the negative of being repelled by the Democrat Party. They're also attracted to a vision of muscular populist nationalism, right? And I believe that that's why right now, for example, in polling, and I do a lot of polling, Trump's best issue by a lot is immigration. It's where the media attacks him the most, right? And they think they're going to make hay, and yet it's actually his strongest issue. Because guess what? Controlling the border doesn't just make sense for our national security and our street safety. It's a huge economic issue. Working class people know they're having to endure unjust, unlawful competition in the labor market from millions and millions of illegals, and they've had enough of it.
I think one of the things that Democrats are particularly shocked by, and maybe you could speak to a little bit more on this, is that Hispanics seem to be not as unsympathetic towards other Hispanics being deported that maybe Democrats would have thought. So in the past, Democrats thought immediately if Trump were to increase funding for ICE and increase deportation numbers, that this would harm him with those communities. Maybe can you speak on that? As I understand, you did Hispanic outreach on one of the Trump campaigns.
Yes, actually, both in 2016 and 2020. No, I think this is one of the most amazing stories of the populist right movement, of the MAGA movement, is Hispanics coming en masse to the political right, and I think it's a lasting movement. But to that point of let me give the evidence. Last November, Trump nearly won Hispanics. We know this from the Pew validated voter survey. He did win Hispanic men. He won Hispanic men nationwide. In the key areas, he won the overall Hispanic vote, like South Texas, a place that used to be overwhelmingly Democratic. Starr County, for example, which is 97% Hispanic, most Hispanic county in America on the U.S.-Mexico border. Hillary Clinton won it by 60%, 6-0 back in 2016. Trump won it by 16 this time. I mean, that's a mammoth move in just 3 cycles. And his signature issue is immigration. So to your point, to your question about, are Hispanics soft on the border? No, they actually believe in again, a muscular vision of sovereignty. They know that it protects their jobs, their street safety. And by the way, down there in Starr County, one of the things I heard, I made a documentary down there, I heard time and again, everyone has a friend or relative that works for Customs and Border Patrol down there because it's the most Hispanic agency of the federal government.
What do you think then caused that huge swing among Hispanics then? If I don't know if you think it was immigration, is there a particular issue that you think Democrats just absolutely dropped the ball on to reaching out to these voters with?
It was cultural radicalism, cultural liberalism from the left. So that was the sort of negative force, draining away Hispanic support for the Democrat Party, which traditionally was super strong. And then on the positive side, it was this vision that we will make life better for workers. It was a priority on workers because Hispanic men, for example, highest workforce participation rate of any group in America, something we should be really proud of. The most entrepreneurial demographic in America. We love to start new businesses. And Donald Trump came along and said, I'm going to make working class people the priority. I'm going to prioritize small business. And by the way, he didn't just say it, he delivered in his first term. 2019, by any metric, was the greatest year for workers in all of American history. Unfortunately, the COVID panic totally interrupted that progress. But 2019 is when we saw worker pay soar above inflation, meaning real wages accelerated. And the people who benefited the most were Hispanics, blacks, small business owners, all thrived. And so we've built this broad MAGA coalition now that's multiracial, multi-ethnic, and even geographically spread out, right, to the point where Trump was able to win the popular vote based on this vision. So now it's his job and our job to deliver on that promise again in this second term.
And now it looks like South Park is targeting the independent media space. It's targeting the coalitions that helped Donald Trump get elected. Fascinating that Charlie Kirk, with his campus outreach, is now a focal point for South Park.
Right.
I'm curious what you think it means. Aside from all the obvious general stuff, we had all these victories. Colbert gets canceled.
Yeah.
$30 million an episode gets given to South Park, and they immediately say, okay, we got to go after Charlie Kirk. We got to go after Donald Trump. Sounds to me like the anti-Trump machine that was spending the equivalent of one WNBA per year. That's what Sam Tripoli calls it. He calls it one WNBA per year to fund Colbert's show. And they said, we're not going to lose that money anymore. It's $40 to $50 million.
Right.
They give $1.5 billion to South Park. So I don't know how much money South Park is making. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine that it's making it's making a lot more than Colbert. Let's be real.
Sure.
But to cover the cost of $1.5 billion sounds to me like they said, go after the right and do it in a non-woke way because woke is broken, woke isn't working.
Right.
It seems like with the Sydney Sweeney ad, they're realizing, okay, if we want to win power back, we got to get rid of this weird hall monitor garbage and try and be edgy again. So they're trying to now make the right, once again, the butt of the jokes. What do you guys agree?
I think being featured on South Park is a form of respect, even if they are insulting you. So to even be mentioned, I think, is a form of respect. It's not other, influencers, or I don't know what we want to call Charlie Kirk political commentators who are getting referenced
Charlie's
like this.
Probably the most prominent conservative in the country right now.
Look, you don't get on South Park if you are irrelevant.
Right.
If you're not actually relevant to the culture, whether you're getting hate or especially when it's politically charged, you're going to get hate from the left. That comes with the territory. And South Park isn't going to take the time to not only put you on the show, but make Cartman the guy that's playing you in the show. Make Cartman one of the most important characters.
Right.
Generally, Cartman's looked at as the guy with the bad opinions, but even still, he's probably the funniest guy on South Park because he's the guy with the bad opinions. It's whether you consider it a sign of respect or not, it just shows that Charlie's actually really hit a chord with pop culture.
Yeah.
Charlie is in fact older than South Park. I didn't realize. He's 31. Oh, yeah. I thought he was in his late 20s.
But it's a great point, because in politics, I'm a messaging guy, right, a media guy. In politics, to be ignored is death, right? So being attacked can be very powerful. And it's smart of Charlie, by the way, to embrace it, to say, heck yes, I'm Cartman. I'll make it my profile pic. Run toward it and revel in it.
That's why I say this is cultural victory.
Yeah.
The fact that for the longest time, they were heavily criticizing independent media or just treating it as irrelevant. They were trying to just act like it was all corporate press. Now they're starting to recognize the real threat to their system is Charlie Kirk. It's independent media. And so the guys here are telling me that we're going to be made fun of by them at some point. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know that we're that relevant.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Goals.
Yeah,
But I did always wonder about that because, watching Family Guy or South Park or these other shows, they don't really talk about Rogan, right? Clearly one of the most influential guys, if not one of the most influential in politics, whether that's intention or not. They don't make it the butt of their jokes. They still talk about late night TV. It's funny when you watch these shows and they'll make fun of Colbert or Kimmel, and it's like those guys get a couple 100,000 hits. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, we'll see, I guess.
Can I say one last thing on this, though? I do have an inkling that we are being trolled. Matt Stone and Trey Parker have a reputation for making episodes a week out or 6 days out from being able to air. And they also said at Comic-Con that the last promo that they made was just a bunch of random fake cutscenes that they spliced together because they didn't have enough time to create the actual episode. So in the past, they've always waited for the deadlines to do this. And it did look just like a random bunch of BS cutscenes thrown together. At the same time, I don't know who's riding whose coattails because they definitely knew that this would go viral on the political right. So we'll see if the episode ever comes out. I just wanted to add that in there in case we are getting trolled.
So here's what I want to mention. Did you guys know that there's never been a single episode of South Park targeting Joe Biden or Kamala Harris?
I wasn't
Culturally
aware.
irrelevant.
Joe Biden was vice president for 8 years, and he was president for 4, and South Park did not ever mock Biden or Harris. And according to social media reports, I asked ChatGPT, it says the creators opted not to target Harris in the 2024 cycle.
Wow.
Funny, how about that?
Well, and in both cases, so much to make fun of, right? So much material there. In terms of Biden, his stumbling around, right? The clear cognitive issues. And it's not like, they were they thought that was mean, right? They have no problem being mean. And with Kamala, her word salads, right? All the rumors about her drinking. There's so many things that they could do, right? To dive in and be really funny in castigating these two, and the fact that they chose not to is pretty telling, right?
To her detriment. What's worse as a politician, to be hated or unknown, and it's to be unknown, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying it's funny because everybody's favorite Sam Cedar and all these liberals are like Tim Pool having a meltdown over South Park. I was like, I actually praised it. I said they were funny. I just said that the jokes were the jokes they chose to go with were C- jokes.
Yeah,
they did this episode about. I'll give them this. Because South Park does an episode mocking Trump, and what's the joke? He's gay, and he's with Satan. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure every conservative is going to agree with that message about being gay is being devil worship or satanic and to be mocked. The idea that the way they make fun of Trump is to make him gay.
Right.
It's yeah, okay, being gay is something to make fun of, I guess. Right. South Park, if that's they attack the trans people. Now they're making fun of Trump, saying, haha, look, he's gay. And it's okay. All right. This is where, think about this for a second. Our culture, the culture war has shifted so dramatically that if it is true that Paramount is trying to be anti-Trump in a non-edgy way, mm-hmm. they the Sydney Sweeney ads, hilarious. They're basically let's just get a white blonde chick with big boobs, and we're going to sell a bunch of merch, a bunch of clothes. It sounds like Paramount was okay, hall monitor, anti-racist, none of it worked. What do we do? And they're you've got to be offensive and edgy. So they've decided the strategy is going to be to make fun of people for being gay, to make fun of trans people. That's why I'm saying it feels like maybe we have not won the culture war, but we're certainly winning. When their attitude is, we have to make fun of Trump. How do we do it? Well, we can't call him racist or white supremacist because people don't respond to that. Make fun of him for being gay. People don't like that.
Right.
All right. Okay.
It means nature is healing, right? Particularly the Sydney Sweeney ad, right? That tells us nature is healing. Okay, we're going back to what we know works, what has worked for time immemorial, right? Men love beautiful young women, especially if they're doing something funny, right? Nature is healing. It's happening.
I'm loving the meltdown too. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.